fabulous day. I'm on my break. It was such a nice day. I'm like, let me just go outside. And I wanted to finish what I was saying yesterday because I actually forgot to say it, but then I remembered. Another type of bullying in the workplace is financial abuse. And a lot of small businesses get away with it because they're small and they paying you off the books. So like my first job, it wasn't really that much drama, but she was paying us way below minimum wage and she knows that, and she was taking advantage. And so that's why I didn't really care. I was like, you know what, this is my first job, this is to get my feet wet in the workforce. So, but that's a part of bullying. That's a part of, you paying somebody way below the wage because they, in my case, young, is my first job. But I knew better. I had goals to be like, I'm not just going to stay here. And I did find something better, but that, environment was toxic, unfortunately. But I know that what I was paid was grossly underpaid. But, also, the next job that I had, sorry for my background, New York City is loud. Just in case y'all don't know, it's very loud. We got the loudest trains. I don't even know why. All of a sudden, the sun came out. It's beaming now. But yeah, so my second job, the second job that I ever worked was at a daycare as well. What really made me leave, not just because I had a job lined up, and regardless of the environment, I had my mind set on to work at City Year, like I said, because I wanted to work with people my own age, and I always wanted to work in schools. This is long before I was a para. By the time I was a para, that was 8 years after City Year. So, City Year was just really good. I was working with people my own age. It didn't even feel like work. Like, I couldn't wait to get to work. It was just a very exciting time. Young people doing a damn thing, basically. So, before I got to that job, when I was working at Hosanna Daycare, right before I left, and I left at such a perfect time, she sat us down and told us that she was paying us once a month. And I think, Diane actually had got fired like way after, I think, because I remember Charmaine telling me the one she also got fired. But that's when she was gonna quit anyway, because once the owner, because we used to have like meetings, I think it was like once a month we would have like a staff meeting, and so she put it in a letter, because the way we would get paid is you had to go in a file cabinet to get your check, and she had put letters in all of the envelopes, and that was the one time Diane didn't argue with me and was like, did you see the letter? I said, yeah, I'm going to another job, so I don't care. Like, that's always been my attitude, like, whatever. So she's like, oh, this is illegal, and I'm definitely bringing this up in a meeting because there's no fucking way that she could pay us once a month, I'm like, but why is it so hard for you to just move on? Like, I don't understand. Like, this is a small business. At least she's telling you, like, hey, I'm not gonna pay you but once a month. You know what I'm saying? At least she's keeping it real, even though it's wrong. Like, why are you so argumentative? I just couldn't understand that I'm all for like standing up for your right, but I just couldn't understand, like, every meeting we had, stuff that you should be saying in private, she would always say it in front of everybody. It's like, if you have a problem with the pay, if you got a problem with whatever, you should address that in private. You saying that in front of everybody, you just make yourself look more crazy than what you already are. But yeah, so that was like the final straw for me. Like, and I was happy that I was moving on, because she said that she was going to pay us once a month. She made up a whole lie saying that Chase is going downhill. And even my father was like, how can that be when those of y'all that's old heads like me remember Washington Mutual? So Washington Mutual was before Chase, right? So when I first opened, because my first job, I was getting paid off the books. once I started that job, my father encouraged me. He's like, you need a checking and a savings account so you can get your debit card. So that's what I did. And literally like 2 months after, it went from WAMU to Chase. Like as soon as, right before I started Cydia, that's when it switched to Chase. So, you know, she's like, oh, you know, Chase is going downhill and this and that. And I'm like, how can that be when they just took over WAMU? And my father was like, yo, she lying. Like, something going on with her finances that have nothing to do with y'all. And he's like, yo, because he knew, like, this lady was blessed when it came to kids. She had at least 40 kids in the daycare. No cap. 40 days in the daycare. People was paying cash, HRA, whatever you had, she took it. So for her to say, oh, I can only pay you once a month, it wasn't right. It wasn't right. I don't know how she maintained employees, because she still had employees after that. So I don't know how that worked out. One of them I seen on the bus years after or whatever, and yeah, and then my coworker, she didn't stay for too long. Well, she stayed for a while, I think. And then when I bumped into her at DOE, that was years and years and years after, because I didn't start the DOE until 16, and I feel like I seen her 17 or 18. It was definitely pre-pandemic when I seen her, so that's like 10 years, you know. And I know the daycare had already shut down. The daycare had shut down like 2011-ish. Well, I know it was before I started security, and before I got my apartment, you know. But yeah, so I wanted to briefly talk about that. Like, that is a part of bullying, is when they don't want to pay you, or they come up with some lame excuse why they can't give you a raise or whatever. Or if you have credits from a school and the director or somebody of authority tells you, oh, that's not a real school. It happens to my coworker. That's a sign of bullying. There's so many examples, but when it comes to your money, yeah, definitely pull whoever you need to pull to the side and get your money, girl.